Yes, you read the title of this video correctly. For some of my life as a teenager, I was a pretty heavy pro-lifer. I was not religious in the slightest. You can even look at my video catalog, or whatever you want to call it. Even just looking at the titles themselves, it would probably take less than 5 minutes to know that I am not this got a few screws loose fundamentalist at all. So I'm gonna tell you my slow progression from being a pro-lifer to eventually recognizing that I was a pro-choice person. And I also kind of want to go into some of the moral standpoints as well. I'm sorry about my hair, but I was remaking this video and I just was like, I was noticing my hair was falling out of my ponytail, and I was like, I'll just remake this. So this is a remake. Take 2. But anyways, let's begin. I had not formulated an opinion on whether I was pro-life or pro-choice, or even really gave any thought to abortion until I was 14, almost 15. This was about 5 years ago, so. Excuse me. So the first time I ever formulated an opinion about this was a girl I had almost gotten in a relationship with 5 years ago had asked me about it. She's like, so what are your thoughts on abortion? I said, oh, I don't think it's right. She's like, well, what if the woman was raped, or was going to die as a result of childbirth? I said, I can see if you're going to die, but I think it's not right to kill another human as soon as, not as soon as, just because someone raped you. She's like, well, yes, but she's not going to see that as her son. This mom's just going to see this child as a constant reminder daily if she got raped. And I got a little offended. I was like, well, that doesn't mean the child's gonna grow up and become a rapist himself or herself. And I think by sophomore year I was like, you know what? And I thought about it for a while. I was like, I think I'm pro-choice when it comes to rape, because for one, not always, but usually when you see someone who's a result of rape, the mother is usually taking out aggressions on him or her, and the person who was a product of rape usually has some significant psychological and developmental problems. Like, I couldn't even imagine knowing that I wasn't conceived out of a desire to be conceived. Like, not even, like, you probably feel like shit if you find out you were in an accident. But knowing you were a major kink in the rope, and it wasn't even a consensual sexual act, that is probably going to make someone feel like shit. I know I would feel like a piece of shit. Pardon my language, but I kind of speak freely, so. And, then junior year, I believe it was, my friend, my very strict fundamentalist Catholic friend, had come up to me in school. He's like, I'm starting a pro-life club. Would you like to attend? I said, oh, okay. And I basically got pissed off because I should have seen it coming now. It's my fault. But it was a completely religious up the ass, and I don't know how they got away with that in a public school, to be honest with you. I guess they can call it the pro-life club, because I noticed this, the meetings at school would have like barely anything to do with religion. Like, you could see the religious symbolism involved, but if it was an off-campus thing in high school, like we would go to Valparaiso University, and this is basically when I stopped, giving a fuck at all. It was, I had beliefs myself, but I was like, I'm not going to stop people from doing what they think is best for them to do. So, what happened at Valparaiso University, I attended a lecture, I guess, about it, and a black woman was on the stage, and she was just going on for 2 hours about how she had 4 abortions, and how she basically is an asshole, really. She'll go into abortion clinics and try to plead with women not to get abortions, like, they already don't feel like fucking shit, because I don't think that an average woman really wants to get an abortion, okay? Miss, if you're watching this, I don't remember your name at all, but if you're watching this, I attended your seminar. This is going to make people feel like shit. Just complete shit. There is no reason to be busting through the fucking doors of an abortion clinic, pleading with women to not get abortions. For one, you don't even know the situation. Okay? She may not be able to financially take care of this child. For one. Yes, I mean, you can say that every person should have a chance at life, but the other thing is, every person should have a good quality of life as well. So why would you put a woman in this position where she has to be like, oh, I have to skip dinner for like 4 nights a week because I want to feed little Jimmy or Susie? This would probably drive her to prostitution, drug dealing, pouring herself out, which I don't have a problem with prostitution or anything like that. I think it should be legalized, because it's a victimless crime, I mean, for the most part. But the thing is that she shouldn't need to be driven to these points because you think it's wrong. And as a man, I have completely become pro-choice over the last year, because I thought it out. I'm a man. I am never going to know what it's going to be like to be pregnant. I can never conceive a child, carry it for 9 months, and constantly be heckled by these evangelist, backwards ass, regressive people that want to strip me of my rights to my body, essentially. And I'm not like a male feminist either. I don't really care for, I'm pretty much apathetical or don't agree with a lot of tenets of modern day feminism, at least in the Western world. But what I do think is something that is gender equality is allowing women the right to their body. And if you're a woman watching this, don't freak out. I don't think Roe v. Wade is ever going to be overturned, really. For one, I believe the Supreme Court would probably rule this as, yet again, the absolute disregard for the Fourth Amendment, which grants you your right to privacy, and something about seizures and stuff, and basically your right to not consent to illegal searches or seizures without a warrant present. But it's just so concerning, really. Another thing is, if it does get outlawed, and I'm now directing this towards you evangelists, you pro-lifers, the thing is, this isn't going to stop someone who truly wants to get an abortion from getting an abortion. They'll just go to Canada and get an abortion, or they'll go to the back alleys and get the clothes hanger abortion. And do you really want to drive people to that point? Because most of those people, back in the early days, would die of tetanus. Would become sterilized because they did home abortions, basically. So you're pro-life for someone who won't even be sentient, really, until they're about 4 years old. But you're completely disregarding the health of a perfectly sentient person in society who has established himself in society. It's just more of this undying temperance era bullshit. You know, and it didn't even start out as a religious problem anyway. Most of the doctors who would perform these abortions in the 1910s had essentially got tired of doing them because many of the women would die of stuff like tetanus. You know, the technology wasn't as advanced. Or they would puncture the cervix and the woman would be completely sterile for the rest of her life. So they started complaining about it, and the temperance movement found out about it, and it was the perfect proxy group to use. I just want to wrap this video up by asking the pro-lifers a question. A couple. Pro-lifers, if your mother, your grandmother, your neighbor, your girlfriend, or your female best friend had got raped, would your stance on abortion change? Seeing the emotional turmoil that she's going through, and on top of it having to have a baby, which is going to be a constant reminder for the rest of her life that she got raped. And she may not even recover fully mentally after she gets an abortion, because she's going to be in complete... She may be in complete denial of herself, because she'll view it as she killed a person. And now that you visualize this, and you could visualize what the first-hand effects of this are you still pro-life? Let me ask you one more question. Do you think that these outspoken megachurch evangelists, or these figureheads of pro-life movements, you think if maybe their niece, who is a college student, pissing away her tuition money, going to parties every weekend, getting drunk off of Jaeger bombs and shit, and someone has sex with her when she's drunk, She's now pregnant. She doesn't want this kid. She can't handle it. And it would most likely be connected to them anyway, so it would make their reputation look bad. I can guarantee you that under the table, they send a blank check their way. And I'm sure it's happened before. I'm sure it's happened before. A blank check to the relative, say, get this abortion, we're not speaking about it after this. And she gets it, and the megachurch pastor just keeps being the megachurch pastor like nothing happened. The pro-life chairman still is the pro-life chairman like nothing happened, and the drunken party girl is still the drunken party girl like nothing ever happened. Are you still pro-life? I mean, if you need an example, it's not uncommon for these mega church pastors to be caught up in their words. Tim Haggard was constantly rambling about how gay marriage was going to destroy this country, drugs are bad, gays are immoral, gays are possessed by demons, and look what happened to him. He was arrested, found in a hotel room where he was hiring male prostitutes and male masseuses, smoking crystal meth, and giving them blowjobs. Oh, but we can't say that because he was probably just possessed by Satan. No, he's just a fucking hypocrite. That's about it, YouTube. This is Mueller Man. If you would like to see more content like this, please check out my other videos. I have a lot of videos on current events and religion and social issues. If you like this video and want to see more videos in the future, be informed, subscribe, so you know when I make another video. It's been Mueller Man. Have a wonderful, well, almost morning now. It's 11:48 as I'm videotaping this. And peace out. Have a good night, guys.